to Let's Talk, the show with a twist of flavor and a shot of relevance. Today's topic is about a three-letter word, a word that a lot of Latinas are not allowed to talk about openly, a word that our special guest, author Josefina Lopez, knows only too much about. But that's later. First, chatter that matters. Girls, let's talk sex.
Oh my God.
Belle, are you serious?
Yeah.
Latina women still can't talk about sex.
A lot of... Yes.
I can't believe that this is the year 2010.
This is a lot of first-generation Latinas, a lot of Latinas that are coming over from the Latin American countries. That's still a very taboo subject.
Well, not only can they not talk about sex, they don't even know how to name the parts properly, because vagina is really what it's called.
Don't say that word.
But what are the other words? Concha. There are a lot of women walking around, and the T word, the T word.
No, I don't know that one.
No.
But a 55-year-old woman, how old is Oprah, saying vajayjay is ridiculous to me. That's just beyond. I'm sorry.
It's so trendy, but it's so...
No, it's stupid.
What is it?
Well, it does empower a little bit when you're able to name your thing whatever you want to.
But you know,
not to give it funny names. And
but you know, now we can... Now
Panocha is not a funny name.
Now it sounds like a dessert.
Well, and bomba, right? In the Caribbean, la bomba.
But no, when I met Belle, wasn't that around the time that the vagina monologues came out? And she wanted to go see it. She just couldn't pronounce it.
I know. I couldn't bring myself to utter that word. It was just, it was. And it wasn't until I went to see the vagina monologues. I went to see Rosie Perez in it, and I was in there, and there was, in the theater, and there was these 60, 70-year-old couples, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? They were laughing up a storm, and that was like freedom.
Well, of course, they thought it was the angina monologue. That's why.
No, but you know, the younger Latinas, they're a lot more comfortable.
Oh my
younger
God.
women,
because
period.
they're sexting all the time.
They're sexting all the time.
But it's a good thing because, but also, you know, parents should speak to their young women about sex because it empowers them
too.
Absolutely.
And it empowers them, and it also, you can prevent a lot of these STDs if you're informed.
Yes.
Well, that's the whole issue.
For our
People
kids to
need
be informed.
and parents also need to find the way to do it. Of course, I have an 8-year-old. I have 10 years to learn how to talk.
But I'm curious. I am curious. What did your mother tell you about sex?
No abras las piernas. That
Really?
was basically the sex advice I got.
But I went to Catholic school, and the thing is,
God!
No, the nuns were trying to be very liberal, so we would have discussions about sex, but we'd write them on a piece of paper, and then the priest would open, and sometimes he'd go, "I don't think I can answer this one." It was.
Well, see, that's the problem, that it wasn't spoken about. You know, and so then you went and you got pregnant and you had kids, and when you do speak openly about it, they're more informed, and it's not so hush hush, and you can ask questions,
and you can
get
also
advice.
Say, you know, this is happening and I don't like this, or someone is following me or bullying me or making me do something I don't want to.
I think the sexual revolution has actually expanded to Latin American countries, because I have seen, there's one show on Spanish television that is so open. People call in with questions, and they have a very informed doctor. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, do you speak to your mom now about sex?
My mother was married 5 times.
Never.
She says I shouldn't really talk to her too much about marriage and things, because her experience.
But she didn't talk to you about sex.
I told you the advice she gave me was no abran las piernas. That was the advice.
And did you follow
But I'll tell you.
Did you?
But you know what? I will tell you though. Also in the Latina culture, there is such a contradiction, because on the one hand, yes, propriety and all of that, but on the other hand, oh my gosh, it's like, there's a sensual side of a Latina woman that is so exposed
back
and
to the stereotypes, because we're hot tamales and hot and spicy mamitas, but we're virgins.
Yeah, how does this work? It's so, we're schizophrenic. It's very crazy.
That's what it is.
But let me tell you, I'm sure you all know what orgasms are.
No,
She
said the word, the orgasm monologues.
But do you know that there are women who have never experienced an orgasm, Latina or otherwise?
I heard.
Well, we have a guest coming up author Josefina Lopez, who knows about this, and she's going to help you with that. If you have that problem, you better stay tuned because you're going to get an earful.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get an orgasm.
An earful.
Come again?
Let's talk. Hablando se entiende la gente.
And if you've read her book, Hungry Woman in Paris, you know what she's talking about. Welcome, Josefina Lopez. Hi.
Yes, thanks
Hi,
for having
Josefina.
me.
How are you? Really?
All right, we're dying to know, how does one become a sexpert?
Yeah.
Well, my mother was extremely conservative and Catholic, and so I knew that she was never going to talk about sex with me. So when I was maybe 10, 11 years old, I started reading every book I could on sexuality.
Wow, at that
young.
age?
I did.
Wow.
Because, you know, the thing is, children are sexual beings. We want to be in complete denial that, you know, every single person that lives, breathes is a sexual being.
And there's
But-
such a contradiction.
It's a
because
contradiction.
You don't know which way
Yeah.
to
So as a
learn.
little girl, I knew that I said, you know, I don't want to be ashamed of my humanity. So I read Our Bodies, Ourselves. I read every book I could.
That young?
That young. At the library, you know, I walked in and I remember seeing a book wide open. And I remember seeing a woman giving birth and her husband holding her. And I remember thinking, wow, they have such incredible intimacy. Or like, wow, I've never seen this kind of relationship between a man and a woman. And what kind of a book is this? And then I learned everything I could.
I used to buy those novels, those magazines, confidential novels, and you used to read about all these racy scenes. Not like you have now as graphic, but that was also my sex education.
But so where should we be getting our information? Do you think we should? I don't want to get my sex information from my mother necessarily.
And also
do you think we
getting
should?
it from a book is a little, I mean, you know, there's also
So
more
what-
humanity in that. I
Well,
mean,
I
where
think I do
people-
think we need to, you know, get
Tantalizing, though.
Yeah.
We do need to get the basics down as far as our
We need to be
physiology,
able
because
to
I
talk
think,
about it,
I mean, I don't think many women go down there and actually look at it and go, all right, you know, how does this work? And I think
down
women
there.
go down there. Yes,
Wait a minute,
down where?
Down there and explore your all the body, all the parts, because people go, oh, you mistake your clitoris for that, you know, and you feel so incompetent, and it's your body.
So,
It is
Josefina, how
yeah.
long did it take you to practice to refine being a sexpert?
Experiments. You're
Well, the
experimenting.
thing with me is I didn't have my first sexual experience until I was 18 because I
Really?
didn't want to just be like at a party drunk and horny.
But this was
young.
No, but listen.
No,
At
but
18
this was
was
something
married.
that
This
you
was a
actually-
conscious choice because I knew that I didn't want to be a statistic. So many Latinas, you know, they deny that they're sexual beings, and one day, no condoms, they get
And
pregnant.
then it's even worse because then there's another child involved.
yeah, and then you've got to take care of somebody else's needs.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to wait. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to have condoms. I'm going to have everything. It was not like, ooh. It was more like, no.
I'm
it was,
ready.
It was
You
a
were
political
empowered.
statement
You're
for me. It
ready.
was like,
You're
no.
ready.
And I knew that
But
I
18,
was.
you make it sound like you were so old. You were 18.
Well, you know what? Let's get real. Young women are
Yes,
having sex
now
at
it's
like
about
9,
what?
12, and we don't want to.
9?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's-
Like young women, no, because Hollywood it basically tells you that you have to be a sexual being because that's your currency, that's your worth. And unless
Well-
women get the other message that we are worthy because we are women, we're human beings, not because of the way we look and the way we appeal to a
So
man.
sex can be
So, yeah.
empowering.
No, well, the thing is, sex can be empowering if it's something you're doing for yourself.
Yeah.
If it's to attract a man or to like be valued,
Well,
then I
esteem
think
is
that
what you're really
ultimately
talking
it's
about.
self-esteem.
But
yeah.
also Hollywood is telling men it's okay for you to be not the predator, but to go out and search for it. There's no
Well, we're obsessed with
conversation
youth
about it.
because
Right.
you know women at what 35, 40, that's it. And so what we see in film,
What?
Yes, I know. It's like excuse me,
I think
we're
that's
goddesses.
changing.
But I
It's
wanted-
no slowly,
Yeah,
slowly.
yeah.
it's
I wanted
changing,
to
not
ask you a
fast enough.
question because we were wondering in our first section in our chatter, some women have never had an orgasm.
We hear.
Yeah.
We don't
We
know.
hear.
We don't know.
No, so if you haven't, as you as a sex expert, what would you tell them? How can you achieve that, and why is it good to achieve
Well, let
that?
me tell you really why I became a sexpert. Is because I couldn't have an orgasm until I was about 24 years old. And so I had to figure out, well, why? Like, oh, my girlfriends are like, they laugh and that's it, they have one, you know? And I have friends, I swear, I have friends who go, oh, I just giggle
Stop
and I
laughing.
get them. Yeah, exactly, right? And so for me, I had to actually really uncover a lot of things about myself and really get to know myself. And one of the things about me is I have attention deficit disorder. If you have attention deficit disorder as a woman, it is very hard to connect with your body. So a lot of women, they can't focus, even if they're having. It has to
Even
be.
on an
So
orgasm,
you're
they
doing
can't
it and you're thinking, oh, I should have folded the clothes.
Exactly. You do.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute,
exactly.
but men kind of think that way also, so that things.
I'm folding
Some
the
men,
clothes
yeah,
and thinking,
they have to do
Counting
watching
statistics and baseball scores and other things like that.
So you have to ask yourself, you know, like, okay, because if there's seriously, there's something physiologically wrong. Unfortunately, you know, like you would think by now they would have an orgasm pill. The reason they haven't developed an orgasm pill is because there's so much religious baggage that women have,
really
so much societal BS. That's why they can't justify saying, you know, it's a physiological thing, because there's like in your mind, even though you're about to have sex, there's a woman praying right next to you, and you're like, Catholic guilt, oh my God, Catholic guilt. And you're like, how can I have sex when I feel so guilty about enjoying it?
So with the right tools and therapy, you think every woman should be able to have an
Every
orgasm?
woman, and the thing is, you also have to take ownership of your body and say, you know what, let me go try the bathtub. Okay, this doesn't work. Okay, let me go try that.
So you're into also doing like sexual fantasies, I hear.
Oh yes, you know, my
you read her book.
My book was.
Oh, I love the book, and those scenes were like,
Very
oh my
hot.
gosh.
Hot and steamy.
Very hot.
I think every woman should write her own sexual fantasy, because your imagination is your own.
Oh my
your
goodness.
thoughts are your own, and you know what?
Who are you going to show it to?
Yeah, I
Your-
was going to
your
say, what
journal.
if someone
Who do you show it
No,
to?
you videotape it and then you leak it on the internet.
Yeah, then you get your own reality show.
Exactly right.
What is up with that? Why do you think that there's such a prevalence now, or such a trend to have these sex tapes, to videotape?
Because nobody can talk about
I
it,
just
right?
hope mine doesn't show up out there.
But anyway, if it does, leak it on the internet so you can get your
I'm
reality
hoping my
show.
ex-boyfriend will show it, right? No.
Is your husband glad that you're a sexpert?
You know, at first he wasn't, but I said, you know, if you're going to be with an extraordinary woman like me, you really have to look at your insecurities. Because you know what's so amazing about women is that even though there's a lot of oppression, even though women are not paid equally, we ultimately are the most powerful people on the planet, because we have, unfortunately, we have the right to reject men sexually.
And we should.
And no, not that I'm saying you should, but I'm saying that alone makes men powerless.
Wow.
And they feel, I mean, there's a lot of violence has to do with the fact that women have the ultimate
So you
power
have
over
to be
men.
careful not to overstep
No,
that
never
part.
abuse your power.
never
You know, with
abuse
great
your
power comes great responsibility.
Well, this is
Wonderful
great,
message.
Really interesting.
stimulating conversation. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any comments on this show, if you have a question for Josefina, you can go to latinheat.com. We'll link you to her website.
For beautiful skin, remember, cleanse your skin twice a day, exfoliate at least once a week, eat a healthy diet, lots of water, lots of vegetables. And the key to beautiful skin, microdermabrasion with facials, and depending on your skin needs, you may need a series of treatments. I would love to be your esthetician. I invite you to come to Aromazul.
What's all this chisme about Perez Hilton?
You mean Perez Hilton?
Being in some sex scandal?
Well, our Latino chismoso, because he is Latino, his real
And
name is
he's a
Mario
chismoso.
Lavanderia, apparently tweeted a photo, a very provocative photo of a minor, Miley Cyrus.
Right.
So there's even talk that he might be going to jail. And
Oh, my
ABC
goodness.
took down his ad from their website, because so these are serious allegations.
But you know, I saw his rebuttal and saying I'm innocent. All I did was, you know, retweet, and you really think I would do this? And he was so sure of himself that I thought maybe
is.
they were lying,
But
not
also,
him.
Miley Cyrus has been kind of exhibiting a quite sensual look,
Well,
and she's only 17.
That's
so-
Yeah,
what some
but we
people
get it.
would argue that justifies it. Does that justify child pornography?
No, of
I mean,
course
maybe this
not.
isn't, you know, but that's the accusation.
So now Perez Hilton is
mean
being,
Perez?
the tables are being turned on him. Now he's the cheeseman.
Yes.
He's the gossip all over.
Lavanderia airing dirty laundry, but
I wonder.
it's all good promotion for him. Bottom line,
I think he's eating it up.
The controversy just gives him more airtime and more to talk about.
Right.
¿Verdad,
Well,
Bill?
speaking of talking about it, let's just talk some more about this, right?
Well, poor Perez Hilton. But listen, I want to thank our audience for joining us in this stimulating conversation. From the beginning till the end, it's been stimulating. Also, if you have a comment, go to latinheat.com and let us know what you think. And also remember, sex is a 3-letter word, not a dirty word. See you next time.
Let's talk.